Hey everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and I'm back with another little quick review as we take a look at, finally, from the Transformers Cyberverse, Bumblebee Cyberverse Adventures line. Still a mouthful. This is One Step Whirl. And let me tell you, it's been an adventure trying to get my hands on this figure. For whatever reason, it really has been spotty to find at retail. Online retailers haven't been getting it. I got this figure off of eBay for a somewhat reasonable price. Unfortunately, most of the sellers on eBay kind of know that this figure is hard to find and somewhat desirable because of the character. So they're pricing it as such. Right off the bat, I would always say, if you can find the figure at retail, this is a $10 figure, so I would not pay much more than that. One nifty little thing about the figure is, as I've heard from other people, is this basically features the same number of transformation steps as a basic warrior class figure. So why it's being marketed as a one-step figure, I don't know, except for the fact that it does have that hinge transformation. As you can see, the rotor blade can spin, and Whirl does have like a Neo G1-ish look to him, where it is that helicopter, and he does have like the armaments that it's known for and what have you. So, I mean, I actually just noticed the figure does sit a little lopsided. It has to do with like the arms back here. I mean, you can see one is noticeably bigger, but I think that's also because of the action attacker gimmick. But to get into the transformation, what you want to do is start by pulling this front end down. This will then snap the body together. You want to flip those fins down so it'll be formed the legs, but we're not done yet. Bring the tail fin up. It will snap out of place, but before you peg it in, go ahead and make sure the rotor blade is in position. You want to make sure that the V is facing up. Let me adjust the camera ever so slightly so you can see all that. When you fold it, you want to make sure it folds up. There's an itty bitty little notch right there that's going to fit into that's going to accept a tab on the back of the rotor blade, and that will secure everything in place there. And there we have Whirl in its robot mode. As you can see, the arms do tend to want to lean inward because that's where the springs are for the transformation. You do have the arm articulation there where you can bring this arm forward. It's a little bit of a hand cannon. And then this arm has Whirl's traditional hand that if we bring this claw out is a little bit of a grabber. So there you go. Whirl has been featured a little bit in subsequent seasons, the subsequent episodes of the third season of Cyberverse, and I'm just going to pull the camera out just a little so you can get a little bit more of the figure in robot mode. I do like how it just really expands, and you know, it's still about the size of a one-step changer, but it's a little bit bigger, and you do have this mass in the back. As I was saying, the character's been featured in some of the episodes, a few of the episodes of the third season, which I'm sure a lot of people are happy about, because if you know the history of Whirl, this figure, the original Whirl toy, came from a Japanese series called Dvorak. I think no. Yeah. It was basically him and Roadbuster. I want to say Dvorak. And what was interesting, it was part of the Super Dimension line, which means the first in that series was Super Dimension Fortress or Space Dimension Fortress, depending on if it was the show or the movie, Macross. So this was actually the original toy was made by Takatosu. And what happened was Macross was a hit for them. Nothing else they did was, and they ended up going bankrupt, so Bandai bought them out. So Hasbro had already had an agreement with Bandai through Jetfire, and being the VF-1S, and they brought the figures over. So the character was never featured in the cartoons for licensing issues. But what I think was featured in the comics was part of the Wreckers. And what was interesting is you had the big Whirl. There was actually a smaller, like what we considered deluxe class sized version of Whirl that was released under the Converters line because another company got part of the molds from Takatsusu and licensed them to another American company. So you actually had two versions of Whirl on the market at the same time, being sold by companies that never made it, never designed it. Kind of interesting. So you go ahead, close the claw, bring the arms back down. We're going back into vehicle mode. Bring the tail back down and going to snap that back into place. Let's unfold the rotor blade. And then you'll just come in, grab the canopy here in the chest. Ooh, almost forgot. Fold the feet up. That would have jammed everything up. And fold it back up. Bring the arms so they're secured underneath. Got to give it a little push. And we're back. So definitely think it's worth giving this figure a whirl. Hey-oh! And that's about it. So, as always, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. If you are in a position, please think about supporting my Patreon. There is a link in the description and a card here in the video. But I understand in these times, things are a little tight, and frankly, I want you to worry about yourselves before you worry about little old me. And with that said, I hope you're all doing well and staying safe. Being here in New York, things are turning around and the end is in sight. So this is your old pal Chuck for Whirl. We will see you next time.